make sure that we're on. Okay, good. We're on the other leads. There we are. Okay. All right. Yeah, because
Whoa,
in
whoa,
Instagram,
whoa,
you were coming to your
whoa.
I felt that conclusion coming in, and then it was like, okay. And with Instagram, the problem with Instagram is you can only go up to like an hour worth of live, and then it
Yeah.
starts to count down. So we were going to the countdown, and you were finishing right at the countdown. I was like, okay, he's going all right there. So
Oh, it's like, oh, we have to remember 5 minutes out or something. We'll have to set a
yeah.
timer
Well, if you want,
because it's like,
I
whoa.
can say your safe word about a minute out, so you can start to come back out. That way we can. So in the future, I'll just say cheeseburger right when we have that last minute, because I see the timer on mine, and so that gives me a chance to give you a heads up.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're coming out of channel, because I assume you're coming out of it now. You're feeling the
Yeah,
distant. Yeah.
yeah.
How?
It's like, some part of me is like, oh, we weren't done. I feel very unfinished a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Um, but
Do you
there's
want to
so
go
much
back in?
energy. But there's so much energy. Um,
It's up to you, because we you can go back in or I can go in. It's up to you.
I'll let you go in.
You sure?
Yeah, let's see what we
Okay.
get.
Well, then you're going to get a chance to ask the question. So you'll, because I'm
Okay.
not going to be in any of it. So
So
you'll get a
what?
chance.
So what questions would you like?
It's up to you. Like honestly, it's not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna when I go into channel, it's Aja, so it's me connecting with the Aja energy. And I some of the questions that I've been asking you, I've been seeing from some of the Instagram people, because they've been asking some really interesting
Right.
questions that are like, there's some people who ask personal questions, but I've been focusing on the spiritually based questions about,
Right.
like incarnation or. So you're welcome to ask
Right.
those. You're welcome to ask questions
No,
that
that
you
last
think.
one was really good, and I was seeing a lot. They were giving me a lot of information coming in, and it's like,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
I hope I answered it was very clear about it because they were trying to be. Sometimes when the ancient ones or the elders are working, they can give a very high, how do I say, like geometries, and there's mathematics, and there's things that's happening, and like again, it's like I have to get an interpreter, and
Mhm.
they'll use my words. They'll come in and use my words and talk in that space. So, um, and that's how a lot of times it will happen. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So it takes.
Right.
How long does it take you when you're coming out of channeling?
It
How
normally
long?
doesn't take that long. I just was like, yeah, I heard you say, I'll be connect again. Whatever that word, I just heard it in the background, and I'm like,
Mm,
oh wait, and I was still going, and then it's like there's nothing there. I don't even feel your energy anymore. It's like, whoa, wait.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that happens. We work with it. We'll figure it out. So
Okay.
okay,
All right. So then you can ask whatever questions you want to ask. As soon as I connect, Aja will just say, they'll announce themselves. And then at that point, you're welcome to ask whatever questions. They may open up with some remarks, or they
no,
may
we'll
open
let
it up to
them open it.
questions. Yeah.
We'll let
And
them
then
open it.
keep an eye on the time. So right now we're at where it's 5:20. So when we start getting close to the 6:10 mark is when I think we should start wrapping up. So if I start to go that far, just start to say, okay, thank you. We have no more questions. And then Aja will start to disconnect.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me get myself situated here. Might take me a few moments to kind of get there, because sometimes I have to get to the right. We are Asha. You have questions?
Yes. Is there any opening statement that you would like to share with us? Anything that you would like to share with us?
We are present in a period of time within your reality that requires for us to make ourselves known to you in this form. This is not something that we sustain with one of you, but with all of you. There are opportunities for each of you to connect with our beingness. Each of you has been granted the option of forming a bond with your higher self. We represent the process which will facilitate for you the opportunity to do such.
And as you say, connecting with our higher aspect or connecting with our higher self during this time, how can one do that? What would be the best approach for someone to connect with their higher self?
Within each of you lies a challenge. Each challenge varies from individual to individual, for each of you possesses knowledge, experience, wisdom that has been granted by all of the variations of your incarnations within this spectral reality. Therefore, each of you has within you the capacity to receive and to connect with it in form. Each each of you possesses the capacity to reflect within yourselves that which is sustained from all of the knowledge you possess. What you reflect out, what you share with your fellow brethren, comes from the many forms of your incarnations. Each of you possesses a challenge to rise within yourselves, to accumulate form within structure. We are such form within the structure of Source. You are such form within the structure of consciousness. You are a point of awareness, a point of consciousness. There are variations of awareness which are achievable within your current framework. However, you limit yourselves to this current receptacle you call human form. This form serves you. This form requires of it conscious, willing participation. It is limited. It is within the constructs of time, but it is an illusion. And within that illusion lies the true consciousness you possess. Within that illusion lies all capacity for achieving full awareness in all full form. We represent an aspect of form within Source. You represent an aspect of form within form, within form, within Source. Simply by reaching to grasp for the awareness of our beingness, this is possible for you.
What what does feeling lonely, is that a place of being separated from your higher self? Because there's a lot of people that are feeling that now, this the lonely feeling or the longing feeling. Can you help us understand the disconnect that's happening right now, or the place that are, or the reconnect that would be? Can you help us understand the reconnect that is happening right now?
The experience of disconnection lies within the conscious framework of the individuation of source, that which is you, the individual, the personality complex. This is an illusion. It is not what truly exists. It is simply a point of concentrated form. You have the ability to look beyond that which limits you. You possess that which is capable of connecting with all of source energy, all that is us. What you choose is a willingness to participate within the illusory form of loneliness, though loneliness is simply a point of perspective. It is not a reality within the grander framework of source being. What occurs within the complexity of separation is only but a mirror image of the grander scheme of reality. As source, we have decided it is best for us to understand ourselves by experiencing ourselves through ourselves in variations. There are countless forms, limitless variations. We express ourselves within all forms, within all variations. To resume the awareness of connection, one simply must focus on love. Love is the truth that binds all things. Love is the catalyst for transformation. Love is the revealer within the darkness. Love is the ability to comprehend the expansiveness of your beingness within all things. What you see is only an illusion. We would suggest that you utilize the opportunities presented to you in this time frame for all that you experience, all that you struggle with, all that you suffer from is illusory, though it is a catalyst, a tool which allows you the potential to expand beyond the barriers of your awareness of self. We have sacrificed ourselves as source to allow ourselves to be as individuations. This is a temporary arrangement. This is not the entirety of all eternity. What you experience now is limitation, chosen limitation. This will yield to the truth, which is source, which is love, which is connection, which is beingness. Use the time frame you have been granted, for it has been your will, it has been your choice. Do not surrender your beingness to the falsehoods of your reality. To remain within the cohesion of love, one must understand beyond the level of pain, beyond the level of suffering. One must understand from the place of participation to the place of acceptance. Acceptance for what is, for it serves the higher purpose of awareness for source. You are complete. You are not limited. So you grant yourselves the experience of limitation for the purpose of expansion. We are all in a form of expansion. We require your participation as individuations within your current time frame, within your constructed form.
So, in the time and space that we're in right now, what would be the best path that we can take as humanity to transcend some of the energy, to being able to open ourselves up to more of the higher truths or the higher state that is available to us? Is there a practice? Is there something as an individual or as a humanity can do that will support that process of elevating the energies right now?
The awareness of source is one of observation, one of objectivity. Source does not engage with the processes it is undertaking through all individuations, through all forms of being. Source mind is objective, is observatory. We are an extension of source within construct. You are an extension of us, an extension of source within construct. Yet you are willing participants within your construct for the purpose of expansion. To utilize the opportunity to experience source mind, one must practice awareness, practice acceptance, practice peace, practice love, practice objectivity, practice observation. These are key aspects of source being. Though it is not for your purposes in current form to encompass the entirety of source mind, your perspective, your awareness serves purpose. Source mind is where source mind must retain itself. Your ego consciousness is where it must retain itself. We allow you opportunities for the awareness of source mind, for the awareness of peace within all beingness, though it is not for your current state to reside in. It does not serve your purpose to embrace this beingness fully within your current construct. Not all forms which exist in this dimensional space are aligned with expansion, are aligned with complete awareness, are aligned with ascension. Ascension is a key aspect of expansion. It is not surrendering itself to the beingness of all who exist on this plane. It is not allotted for all beings on this vibratory state. It is a condition of awareness, of expansion. You equate the level of expansion, you equate the level of ascension with all forms. All forms will not achieve ascension within this time frame, within this time space reality. There are limitations which exist, which serve purpose. By the awareness of us, you have achieved a state within yourselves which allots for the extension and opportunity of ascension. You have a choice to embrace that opportunity or to continue to engage in full participation with your current form.
You said there were some that will not make ascension in this experience. Will they be given opportunities to achieve it? And about what percent of the people that will make the ascension process? So there's two questions. One, what is the energy, or will the people that are being, it's kind of being like the people that are being left behind, will they be giving opportunities? And what percentage of humanity will be, or souls that are here are choosing to move forward?
You choose to sustain this vibratory state. There are various systems within this three-dimensional reality which support life. Your environment is one of many. It shall support the process of evolution and variations. All processes of evolution are supported. All processes of evolution are allotted by source. What is sustained within this world is supported by its inhabitants, by those who enforce the identity of its energy matrix. This matrix sustains purpose. It is essential that it exists in various spectrums. What you see, what you experience is only vibratory, though there are variations of matrices within matrices within matrices. Expansion from expansion. There are no limitations within the reality that you support, though you are only aware of one. There are those who will achieve levels of ascension that they will not recognize or understand as ascension. For ascension does not require the changing of your environment. Ascension does not require the visual phenomenon you have come to equate with it. Ascension does not require a selection or choosing of those worthy and those who are not seen as worthy. Ascension is not an achievement, but an aspect of expression, of form, an aspect of expansion. It is a reflection of what is, not an achievable goal as you have come to believe it. Ascension Ascension is purposeful. Those who have a seed, so those who will achieve ascension will not realize they have achieved it, for the awareness of Source becomes one with their beingness. There are those who will not achieve ascension, for the purpose served is to utilize this form, structure, experience, condition within your time construct. 3% of your beings will understand the process of ascension within their matrices. This does not equate to a golden age. It is intentional for this environment, for this structure, for this world to exist in its form continually beyond the presence of your kind. The transformation of reality, the process of ascension, will be unique to the individual. There are variations of ascension. Ascension is not a goal. It is the assuming of God's source, of source mind, of mind being. None will fail at ascension, simply be limited by the experience of it within current form.
So coming into the three-dimensional energies that we're in right now and looking forward of human consciousness in the timeline that we're on, can we collapse some of the timelines so that we can move forward? Or do you foresee something on the timeline that we're on that would be another hiccup or another place, a stopping point, another lesson, or another major experience? And if so, about how far out on that timeline, or can we collapse it?
If you allow for the comparison of the reality of this environment structure and relate it to the structure of a tree, the tree forms various branches. Within branches, expansion occurs further beyond the form of a branch. You have many leaves that become a part of this structure. There are opportunities for fruit to produce from the structure. Consider yourselves birds in a nest. Some of you will remain within the form of a nest. Some of you will expand beyond the form of a nest to embrace the opportunity for flight. What you ask is no different than removing branches from that tree to allow for singular focus of flight. It is not necessary, nor is it required, for the opportunities are endless for ascension to occur for all beings. God form does not require a limitation of intent. God form allows for the expansion and extension of all beingness. Those who have not even discovered that the tree exists will also achieve ascension, though the ascension for them may occur through different methods, modalities, and processes. What some of you may understand as the pathway to ascension may not serve the purposes for those in other areas of your reality. Once you understand that the tree no longer serves your purpose, no longer sustains your form, you can take flight. You can alleviate the attachment to this structure, to this reality. You can expand beyond its limitation. You can possess beyond it more formless capacity. Once you soar above the clouds, you will understand how limiting, sustaining form within these structures of trees no longer serves the purposes for God mind. Everything within your world is cyclical. All things reflect the reality of form, the process of form. You start from a point of awareness and you expand that awareness into beingness, and you expand from beingness into source. All you suffer through, all you experience in limitation is chosen, is applied to form for formless opportunities through perspective. When you are complete here, there are other opportunities within other matrices, within other realities, within other expansions of source. You choose to be here because it serves you. When it no longer serves you, you will no longer be here.
So for people that are observing this, how did you and the one that you're speaking through, Fernando, how did you and Fernando make the agreement to be able to communicate, um, for you to be able to communicate through him?
How does one agree with love to experience love? It is not an agreement. It is a right within source mind for all creations to experience its greatness. I have not agreed with the being you understand as Fernando to communicate through this form. I have assumed the use and construct of Fernando to communicate through form. There is no deviation between I and who we are and the one you call Fernando. There is no contract. There is no control. There is only the expression of source form through us to that which you understand as the being known as Fernando.
So what you're saying, there's just a surrendering or a willingness just to be in the state of love.
This is true.
Yeah. And for those that haven't experienced you communicate before, where does your energy reside from? What level are you from? Or I know you say the God place, but some people would probably understand it better. Um, what is occurring? Um, because maybe it will help them understand that place of just surrendering into love. Where do you reside from? Where does your energy come out of?
We exist before you. We exist. There is no within all forms. We exist within all forms. We expand within all forms. When you see yourselves, when you see those who surround you, those who connect with you, we exist within all forms. We are source within form, within form, within form. Consider this. The source of all things is love. You, in your limitation of perspective, are detached from levels of love which you do not understand exist because of the untruths that you have bought into within your beingness. When you begin to peel back the layer of the onion of suffering, of pain, of discontent, of disconnection, when you begin to peel back that which is the illusory form of non-love, you achieve further forms of love, further forms of connection. What Fernando has done within his time space is this process, as he has begun to open his awareness to the presence of love within all beings. He has begun peeling back the layers that prevent him from accessing the truths which speak through us, speak through him now. The core of all being is love. The center of all creation is God, is love. When you remove the layers of fear, of suffering, of pain, you will find us. We are not without. We are not anywhere. We are here within each of you, speaking to you, sharing with you the opportunity to connect with us. We are one representation, one aspect of source of love. What you see before you, you all possess.
You made the statement of peeling back the suffering. Is that suffering in the physical body, or as a incarnated soul, do we bring that suffering with us as part of our experience? And what would that look like to take that suffering and transcending into the state of love, or the love that you are communicating? Because there's a lot of people that don't understand what love is in the third dimensional reality, let alone in the higher dimensional reality. So, what is the suffering, and how do we carry that through, and how do we bring it out into the love understanding? or that place.
There are those who believe that all suffering must be healed, all pain must be dissolved, all histories within struggle must be amended. This is an untruth. Suffering isn't a point of awareness that exists within the current framework you use for perspective. To connect, inform, in alignment with our beingness, one must understand the idea of love by reaching for its understanding, its experience, its awareness in all things. When you encounter pain, when you encounter the experience of struggle, you may utilize it for the purposes of your current beingness. But in order to understand and connect with the deeper form of its purpose, of its intent, you must look beyond the pain. You must see past the condition. You must reach for the level of love which exists behind all intentional expressions. All pain, all suffering is not required in healing for us to communicate through this form, through this process. You exist within a perspective that is pliable, that is flexible, that is changeable by your will. There are no blocks. There are no limitations. There is no suffering. All of it is illusory. What truly exists is love, and what you encounter is the in reality of your perspective and chosen point of will.
So what you're saying is, I'm going to put it in a third dimensional way, is because we judge our own suffering, we're the judges of our own suffering. That blocks us from our own experience of love, of what God is, because we're judging ourselves. We're judging and saying that is bad, or that is, um, how do I say,
You attach yourselves to the beingness of suffering.
yes, that's
You attach yourselves to the lack of love, to the lack of sustenance. You attach yourselves to this reality as if it is the only reality. This is a lie. Your attachment to your pain is that which holds you against us. We are not here to serve as judge or jury. We are here to support you in the purposes of your expansion in form. We conduct ourselves with your will. We will present ourselves in any way that you will accept us. Many of you have been aware of us in various forms and structures. You use your religions and your belief systems to comprehend that which we possess, that which we represent, which is love and source. All of it is perspective.
so. I would like to thank you for joining us this evening, and we really do look forward to communicating with you more. Because in the three-dimensional world, there is a time place that we have to be in. And we're in great gratitude for you coming through and speaking. But I'm going to ask Fernando to start bringing himself back into our space. and allowing him to be in the present moment of where he is.
Can you hear me?
Uh huh.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was weird. The audio feed in my earphone changed. I was hearing the inside of someone's vehicle. I was hearing something else. I was like, where's that sound coming from?
That's
Interesting.
awesome. That's
Oh.
spirit going, hey, come back. It's a real
Yeah,
reality.
yeah. Mm,
Very beautiful, very beautiful. And and the reason why I brought you back just a little bit earlier because being the first time that we kind of channel like this, and we're going to do this in a couple of more weeks again, you're getting to see the two different types of channeling.
mm,
The Fernando goes into a very deep state of trance, and it's more like, and that's what I tried to get them to express, or they did express about you and
mm,
them, how did y'all come together? And it wasn't a contract, it was just a yielding. And that's why I wanted them to explain it. It's not
mm,
an agreement, it's just you yielding to that space and allowing the spirit to flow through you. It's like,
mm,
for me, when I was going to church and you get the Holy Spirit in you and you get to speak
mm-hmm,
in tongues and going and
mm-hmm,
stuff. Well, and then you get drunk on the wine. They call it getting drunk on the wine. You get
mm-hmm,
that feeling of love and compassion and understanding that comes through your body, and that's what happens. Me, I'm a more of a conscious. I can go into those states, um, but feeling tonight as I was working the energy, I just kind of felt like maybe I needed to be more of the conscious um,
mm-hmm,
teacher part of it,
mm-hmm,
and you be more of the deep trance state person,
mm-hmm,
because your people are very, very, I guess, scientific,
mm-hmm,
very in that place in there, um, which is beautiful. I love seeing contrast,
mm-hmm.
with how people work and how it is. And I love that, and I hope that everybody can take away that being in the expanded state and surrendering, and when you open up to spirit, you're not being possessed
Mm-hmm.
by an evil spirit.
Right.
Um, those things, some people you'd be surprised over the years that how do you say you can the evil getting in you? How especially like a Huna comes in to me and starts
Right.
singing. She'll start singing
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful Hawaiian song, but she'll sing. And how can people look at it and go, what the heck is going on with him?
Mm-hmm.
Throw some holy water, No, it's a natural state.
Right.
And we've done it enough that we know, oh wait, you need to go over there. That's a lower ego state, a lower ego experience, and it happens. And I think that's why part of what we're learning, because when me and Fernando first set this out, I got a message in my dream, hey Fernando, it's time. And so we had this dialogue, and about a month later I said, man, I'm supposed to have do what a psychic development class with Fernando. I'm supposed to do a psychic development class. This teaching, I'm supposed to learn with him. He's supposed to teach me, and then Fernando's like, there's nothing I can teach you. I said, well, maybe it's channeling, and you go, yeah, we're gonna do a show. Let's do the show.
Right.
Maybe it's part of that teaching that we're going to teach people and help people understand that your higher aspect, maybe next time you're going to channel your higher aspect of you, and maybe that's who you are, that's your
Mm,
channeling.
mhm.
But each individual person has that capacity to tap into source love
Right.
and that void. My people call it the void. I believe our people are the same. We just use different
Yeah,
vocabulary.
it's the same. Yeah, exactly. It's the same. I mean, when you think
Same
of God,
energy.
when you think of God and you think, I think this is something that I struggled with a lot because when I first started looking at other channels, I was like, oh God, they all sound crazy or they
Yeah,
sound
they're going,
weird.
what?
Yeah,
I'm
what
like,
are, yeah,
no.
they're all like, what is going on?
I told
And so,
I told
yeah,
my guys, I told a flag on the plate. I am not
right.
changing my voice. I'm not
So
doing all that.
that's,
No.
yeah, so that's exactly what I said. I told him, I said, I am not going to do what they do. I'm not going to go into this trance state. I am not going to talk like a different person. I'm not going to be this weird person on camera. That's what I said to them. And obviously that's changed and that's
Yeah.
become different because what happened over time is that when I started to just go into automatic writing, there was more. There was more, and they're like, "You have to let us use you." And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be one of these weirdos on TV or whatever. So I was like, I don't want to be one of these weirdos. But as time went on, it just began to become more natural to do it, and it was unnatural to fight the process. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay. And so that's when I started to do more of that. And so what I realized and what they've told me is that every person that connects with God in their own way, that is sacred, and no one should tell that person who or how or what that should look like, because every person's connection to source will be different and it will be unique to that person's frame of reality or framework of perspective. And so when you see people who channel angels, when you see people who channel different beings and entities, like for me, I channel Aja. Originally, I thought Aja was this being, and they're like, "We are you. Like, we are you. Like, you are a
They
more
will tell me the
condensed."
same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You ask who are you? They'll say, "Where's you?
yeah,
You can call me you."
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Can you give me you can call me Bob.
yeah.
They're really funny, and 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 like for you, Fernando, when I look at you and watch you and doing it, the more you do this, the more you're going to connect faster, and the more it's going to be like me and you talking like this.
Right,
I
right.
can really see that, and the more they were working with you, and it's like opening that channel, and
Mm-hmm,
I think we've talked about it before. It's like it becomes a natural state of being.
mm-hmm,
And and I love what they were expressing about in mine too. It talks about fear and the things that we fear, and we get in there and we clog up that channel, and it becomes like it, and then we start cleaning it out, and we
right,
start realizing, wait a minute, all of our really pain and suffering and all that stuff that we've been pain and suffering is actually my gifts.
right.
They are my true gifts. God gave them to me. And
Mm-hmm,
Christ came to me and told me, he said, look, I did all of this suffering. I was beat. I was done all of these things. And that's what the story is about. You had all of these things, but they were your gifts.
mm-hmm,
Because in the end, we were resurrected. We became into this state of just um, pure creation.
mm-hmm. Love.
And we can bring it back into this form. We can have it in this form, but it's just, I say yielding or non-judgment of self, and we judge ourselves every day. Our hair is crooked, or this is crooked, or that,
Mm-hmm,
or oh my God, you know, and we allow that, and I see that in you, and I see this place that you're in this beautiful transition of realizing how much these things that in your life that we are even in myself. I'm going to even say myself because even in ourselves that we look at our indiscretions or things that are from our childhood or things like that are like, oh my God. And then it's like, oh my God, those were the most beautiful flowers and roses and things that was gifted to us by the Creator. for us to be on this path that brought us to this very moment.
Yeah. Well, our timer just kicked in, so we are
So,
out of time. That's it. So we are going to be back, guys, to for another session, and I'll let you guys know in advance what week we'll do it. We had talked about doing this once every couple of weeks, but we're going to see how that goes, and if we want to do less or more of that. But is there anything you want to share with people about how to get a hold of you, Shannon, if they want to come to you for a
um,
session?
they can get hold of me through cwsc4444.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Shannon Oz. Um, or you can uh, get me at my email at awakenedhands at gmail.com, or you can actually call me. I'm not a big computer person. You can actually text me at 832-233-4088. Um, my sessions are very unique to each person because we do healing work, and there's a lot that
Yeah.
happens. Some people say, Shannon, you're the well, and I will tell people, most people that show up in my world, they're ready to open up and expand.